1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. 2. 1.
Right, in 3, 2.
Yo.
All right, so let's go through the roster here. All right, from left to right, who do we have?
Left to right.
Oh, left to right.
Yeah.
What kind of introduction is this?
I don't know. Just say who you are, your rank.
Oh, my name is Isaac Reed. I'm a captain. Thank you very much.
My name is Alon Warl. I'm a captain at Hargrave Military Academy.
I'm a cadet lieutenant colonel. My name is Phoenix Johnson, and I'm the battalion commander.
I'm a basic cadet, Jaden Frick. Yeah.
We all start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's going on Wednesday now? What do we have Wednesday?
Okay, I'll explain that.
Yes, please explain.
Okay, so Wednesday we're gonna have no classes, no sports. I was canceled. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's gonna be a later reveille. I think we're expecting day students around 8:30ish, and then we're gonna go straight into my inspection at around 9:30, and then after my inspection we're gonna obviously go to lunch, and then we'll have final field meet, and that's just dodgeball, basketball, water polo, and trivia bowl. And then after that we're gonna pretty much have free time because everybody's gonna be burnt out from the day, so just gonna give back their free time.
Nice, nice. All right. What would you say? What'd you say back there, bud?
Me?
You say something?
Amen.
Amen. Okay.
Amen.
Nice. Nice. So, recently promoted?
Yes.
Recently
To
promoted.
captain, yes.
Nice, nice.
So tell them, what'd you start at the beginning of the year?
So at the beginning of the year, I started as a private. So I was a private, and then I got the opportunity to be an officer, an auxiliary officer, which wasn't the best. Then I would say about a month in, there's a position opening, and here, Phoenix Johnson gave me that opportunity to get a better rank in battalion staff. Now I'm S1 battalion staff. So.
Nice. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
You've earned it.
Yeah.
No,
Tell me
seriously,
something good about Warl. Yeah.
No, he's done his fair share of work. You know, when you pull these guys up from the bottom, usually it's a hard process. But I think with Warl going to FUMA, it made him a little bit easier to understand the military mindset and what we kind of do on battalion staff. And so, I think he was underestimated in the beginning, but he did do his work, and he still does a lot of work. And so I appreciate him for what he does.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. I like having him on the mats too. Warl is one of those guys where like he could probably hurt somebody, but he won't. And you can pair him up with anybody. You can pair him up with Reed, or you can pair him up with Frick. Yeah, and he has paired up with you, right? Yeah. And he won't. I always say that your level of relaxation and control is the biggest measure of skill when you're training. And the fact that you can stay calm and still do the same stuff with the small guy as well as the big guy is cool, man. It's a good testament to your personality, and that's going to make you a good leader to have that kind of mindset.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to learn anything if you're just murdering them on the mats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just having a good time and learning is fun, right?
I heard Z, and he said that he was pretty good at chess. Have you played him?
No.
Should I ask him?
Word.
I don't know if he was just yapping, but I don't know.
We have a lot of chess players here. A lot. It's really cool, man.
I know.
Chess.com was the most visited website on Hargrave last year.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah. Can you believe it?
So I would say I developed a lot over time while being here. I came here last year, I would say pretty immature, really not knowing who I was. But like now I look at myself and I look back, and it's just kind of like unbelievable, like how much I've grown here in a year span. Like I've changed so much, and people see like and say that like compared to me last year, I was just a completely different person, and like I've just completely changed while being here, and it's just grown me. And I feel like a lot of people do see how Hargrave builds you, but like it really does build you. Like every little small detail of every day builds you as a person. So, and I would say just going through like the struggles of Hargrave just built me who I am today. So, yeah.
Doesn't seem like that when you're going through it, do it?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
At all. But
Yeah.
when you really look back and you look into it, you could see like even just like making your bed every single morning, or the small tasks, just cleaning your room every single day. It prepares you for life, it gives you life values and stuff.
Yeah.
The small things we do. So
And when you start your day with a win,
exactly.
doing something small, it really sets the tone, doesn't
It really does set the tone. And there's I don't know his name, but there's a famous military guy who like made a speech on that, like make your bed.
Yeah, wrote a book.
Nick wrote a book too. I have that
McRaven,
book in
yeah.
my. I have that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have that book in my
Do I
on my
have
desk
that?
right now. Actually, big change.
What would you think would be like any special moments, like any particular moments that really stand out to you as things that kind of define? It could be a failure because we learn a lot from failure. Phoenix has heard me say this before, but we want y'all to fail here because it's better to fail and learn here
Yeah.
than somewhere where there's no parachute.
I would say, honestly, my switching point was last year I got OSS. So, and I would say that was my biggest switching point where it really opened my eyes, and I was like, and Raider, Commandant Raider last year, I mean, he kind of really opened my eyes, and he was always telling me, like, since the beginning of the year, I was, like, hanging around the wrong people or this and that. I always fight back with him saying, like, oh, I have nobody else to hang with, like, those are my only friends, but, like, and then I realized, like, after OSS, it's just, like, who you surround yourself with is really who you are. And I was really surrounding myself with, like, bad people. And, like, I mean, you could really argue that as much as you want, but your environment is what you are. I mean, you become what you're around. Like, it really is, like, how it is. So, like, after OSS, it opened my eyes, and I just kind of, like, went ghost. I wasn't really friends with anybody, but I got in a lot less trouble because I just didn't get involved with people, and I just try to stay low, a bit more low.
Yeah, you ever heard the saying, show me your friends, I'll show you your future?
Exactly.
So that was probably one of the best things I've seen because that was a real world example of where mistakes can go wrong. And this one just happens to be a little bit more detrimental than other mistakes we can make. So he was, Mr. Mucker was basically telling me, taking me through the streets of where he grew up. And he took me to a graveyard, and I'm wondering what we're doing there. And then we get out of the car, and he goes, "You see that graveyard? You see that gravesite right there? That's my brother." That's a really great example of where mistakes can really go wrong. And I think that many kids today don't see the detriment in mistakes.
And picking the wrong friends. They're not really your friends. That was my brother's biggest mistake. My brother, he got shot in the neck and robbed, and his friends went home and went to bed. They didn't call anybody, and the state police had to wake them up, and the police said that if they would have just called somebody, he'd still be alive. Mm-hmm. Isn't that wild? Yeah.
Let him sit out there and die.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that.
Oh, man, it's
Yeah.
okay. If it's worth anything, it's worth a lesson.
Exactly.
And the scary part, though, is that the person who killed my brother went on a crime spree, and he shot multiple people, stole a car, he robbed a store. And when he was in the courtroom, he had no understanding of the gravity of his situation. He was calm. He did not realize his life was over. Mom, she actually asked the Commonwealth attorney not to give him the death penalty because she didn't want to see another life get lost.
Wow.
But just understanding that, I didn't hate the guy. Like, he was young. He was like 17. I didn't hate him. I felt sorry for him because he grew up in an environment where all of that behavior was acceptable.
It was normal.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's a really sad thing. So you pick your friends right. You hang out with turkeys, you're gonna cluck, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I mean, I say this a lot. I mean, I feel like there's a difference between like your friends and like your actual friends.
Mhm.
So like you have friends like you could like I don't know you do things with, but they don't really do anything for you. They don't really benefit you in any way. They don't really check up on you. They're not really there for you on the times you really like need help or support. But there's friends out there, those good friends, those actual friends who are there for the bad times and there to support you and like are there on the bad days and are always by your side. So those are like your actual friends, and I feel like a lot of people don't like see the difference between that. And they'll like say like, oh, my best friend's this person, but like do you like really know like what they would do for you like under pressure or in a situation or like how far they would go for you compared to some other people? I mean, you really got to look at that, or what they would do to you if they were put under pressure and had to throw you under the bus or something. you don't know if something like that would happen.
You know a good test for a friendship? Start improving yourself and see who sticks around.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When you start growing and you start building yourself, you're going to lose people. But that's okay. That's just shaking the loose fruit off the tree. Just let it fall off, right? And just keep going. But you will lose a lot of people on the road to success.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's a fine line between those acquaintances, which you, for lack of a better word, and your true friends. Like you'll have an acquaintance group of probably like maybe 8 to 10 people, but there's only that 2 to 3 people that are actually there for you, and they'll stick to the end no matter what you go through. They'll always be there.
Just be yourself. Being yourself is one of the most important things when making friends. Because then, how do I explain it? They just,
Take your time. I'll cut it all up. Don't worry.
yeah.
We kind of put you on the spot, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody just stare at Jaden. Amen.
I guess, how, your first impressions, when, people look at you, they will act, differently towards you, and that can change, like, a whole, like, friendship, relationship, like, it starts it off, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, the problem about social groups now is not necessarily about the wrong influences. It's identifying those influences, because sometimes it can take you a couple years to identify those people that really aren't helping you, and it can be really difficult to dispel of those problems. But I think the problem is right now is that people are becoming so accustomed to these ideas and beliefs that their friend group is their friend group, and it's not actually bad for them, that they end up ruining themselves. And I see that a lot with some kids here, hanging out with the wrong kids, and they don't even know they're doing it.
It's the equivalent of an abusive relationship, and they don't even know it.
They don't even.
Just saying.
They don't even know it.
Yeah.
And that's just something that comes with time. And like Warl was saying, sometimes it takes you until your senior year to actually see the other side of the school.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that can't be explained. You could stand up there and say it all day, but those are just words. There has to be a certain level of maturity and a perception to see that. And sometimes you can't ever see it.
You see it in somebody, and it feels really good.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can get in and lose it, because everybody makes mistakes, right? You ever see those cadets that do really well, really well, really well, and then boom, back down the ladder. Then really well, really well, really well, boom, back down the ladder.
Yeah.
Pay real close attention to this, because it's going to happen a lot. You're young, okay? But I think that you said it right, and if Elijah was here, he would have already been screaming from the back of the couch about doing the little things. But I want you to picture this, okay? So you got a ladder, okay? And on the right, let's say on the left, you have a ladder where you have 4 steps, okay, on this ladder. And then you have the ladder over here where you've got 20 steps. Which one's actually climbable?
20.
Yeah, right? The steps over here are too far, right? And when you learn things and when you grow, it's all about the small steps. And you start to realize, too, that success isn't an event. It's just enjoying the process, right?
Yep.
And being able to transfer that knowledge to others is probably the greatest gift, and it's the best feeling ever. There we go.
Hargrave is an institution that creates leniencies for people to make mistakes, and they learn from those mistakes, and that creates independent thinking.
Yes.
And it's so, like you said, it's so much better for kids to make mistakes here because we're still in high school, and I think some people forget about that because this is such a mature environment that people literally forget, oh, I'm actually in 9th grade. And then once you get to college, you're leaps and bounds ahead of the kids that are already in college, and that stuff comes second nature.
Yep.
So it's just something I wanted to point out. I mean, you're paying a price for kids to learn these things that are invaluable. And
yeah, and it's not
just
the
comes with
walls.
time.
It's not the brick and mortar. That's what I try to tell people when they come here. It's not what you see.
Yeah.
It's the process is what you're getting, what you're buying.
Yeah, you can't
mean,
see it.
They
Yeah.
stress independent thinking so much here. They're like, you guys need to think independently. This is how you become successful because, like I said earlier, in society we're so accustomed to following the horde.
Yeah,
that
we're
we don't-
followers.
That we don't understand to live our own lives and make our own decisions. And so this is definitely a great environment to learn that. And I'm sure there's other schools that do this too. It's not just us, but public schools don't do that anymore.
Mm-mm.
And kids don't have the motivation these days to actually do for themselves.
Yeah.
So it's really demoralizing.
I mean, it's definitely hard to get back into the groove once you've fallen. But I think it's just those people around you that pick you up. You know, like we're talking about friends. You know, those true friends will pick you up when you fall down. They'll definitely help you get back into the groove of what you need to do and help you succeed. So, yeah, I think friends is definitely a big portion of it.
I mean, I feel like I've had my slip-ups and, I haven't fully fallen out of the groove, you know? I mean, I feel like when I, slip up on something or I see myself, slacking off on something or procrastinating, even though I don't want to do it, I just, I have to. I just say I have to. As much as I don't want to, I just push myself through it. You just got to keep pushing. And that's all you could really do. That's what I do. I just keep pushing. And I always start with the smaller things that I could get done. So if, say I'm I'm having a bad week or something, I'm not feeling good or something, I start with the small things, and then I start working on the bigger things, and then once I start getting back on track, then I start getting back in and stuff. But I like starting with the small things. So.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. Those little wins boost you, don't they? There's momentum in that.
Yeah.
You know, it's really kind of difficult once you disrupt your routine to get back on track. If you're on a long weekend and you come back and it's Monday and you got to get in the uniform and go to class, it's dreadful. And then when you get back to your room, you're I don't want to do any of this. All I want to do is sleep. Honestly, that's really difficult, and sometimes you have to do things you don't want to. And creating that environment with your friends and getting a study group going and being around the right people can fix that almost instantaneously. And even then, it can be difficult, and that just shows you how hard it really is to get back on routine. But once you're around the right people, for me, it's Rose and Wall and stuff, because they're in the same classes. So I hang out with them, and I get back on track, and they help me a lot, and they do a lot for me. So that's definitely one way to get back on routine.
That's when your friend group has standards.
Yeah.
People complain. Sometimes they're like when they see somebody who's well off or wealthy or something, and they think they're stuck up because they only hang around other wealthy people. Mm-hmm. Some of it may be because they're relatable, but the other fact is those people have standards. And if you always try to elevate your company past your own capabilities, you're always going to constantly try to be driven to
You're
improve.
just going to keep pushing each other up.
That's right.
And most of these people that do that are pretty smart dudes. The guys that keep on track are pretty smart dudes. So, I mean, it's difficult no matter how you do it. But sometimes you just need a couple days of rest if you've burnt out, because that happens to me all the time. I get burnt out. So do you. So does Reed. So does Frick, I'm sure. In his classes, we all get burnt out. But I definitely think taking a couple days of rest, kind of recentering yourself is another way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, just time. Just takes time.
So let me ask y'all something. Which one of y'all have girlfriends right now? That's it?
Nah, no girls. What's wrong with you? Get out.
No. Okay. But there's an audiobook I was listening to, and this guy was saying that he said that men find women attractive mostly initially how they look, right? The most attractive part to us for women is typically, their looks, right? Yeah. Women find security as the most attractive feature in a man. Not looks. Now, don't get me wrong. If you look like Shrek, good luck. But women actually find security as the most attractive feature, meaning that you have yourself together.
Yeah.
I see that, yeah.
So there's hope for you. I'm just kidding.
I would say mature women, though, not girls.
No, no, you stay away from those.
I mean, I would say, honestly, I was, before I am who I am now, I was a pretty bad kid. I wouldn't say I was a bad kid. I would say I got involved with bad people who did bad things. I was never really the one doing the actual bad thing. I'll be the one on the side with the person doing the bad thing. So I had a bunch of events leading up to that. I had ISS, OSS, which I won't get into detail, and it was just it was completely stupid, but they gave me the opportunity to come back, and I didn't come back. And getting dismissed from there, it didn't change my mind on anything. I didn't really change or anything. I was just oh, whatever. It's just I got kicked out. But then I got ISS, and that didn't really change my mind either. Or it started to change my mind, and I was geez, man, I'm getting in trouble like more and more. And it's like, and I'm starting to question myself, like, am I a bad kid? And I would answer, I'm like, no, I'm not a bad kid. So why do I keep getting in trouble? And it's like, then OSS, I was like, it really like opened my eyes. I was like, I'm not a bad kid. I'm not around the right people and like where I need to be, and I'm not putting what I want in front of me. So I wasn't putting myself in the environment I needed to be in that would support me and push me to my goals and dreams.
Do you see how good it feels to have the confidence boost of doing a good job on a regular basis?
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
it's crazy.
It gives you this unrivaled confidence.
It really
and
does.
that feeling of accomplishment. It's almost like when you watch. It's the only equivalent I can think of is you ever see those videos on YouTube like power washing
Yeah,
and things of that nature.
satisfying.
Yeah, that gratification. That's the only thing I could think of. Every time I think about that feeling, I think about how when I used to run my jiu-jitsu academy, I would get there early and I would mop the mats even if they were clean because I felt like it cleared my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I started class with just clean mat. Everything felt good, and it was my meditation time.
I completely get that. Yeah.
What do we expect from room inspection?
I mean, the standards are general. I mean, there's an outline list of how you're supposed to have your room. And for some companies, they'll have pictures posted on the board of what it should look like. But essentially, I mean, you're supposed to have your bed a certain way, trash can's supposed to be taken out, wiped out sink, closet in order of dress. I mean, it's just a ton of things that culminate into what a room should look like. But honestly, it's about being uniform. You know, if I go up to a barracks and everyone has failed the same exact way, I'm not going to fail them. That's just not how it works. That's being uniform. That's, in my mind, being uniform and being completely wrong is better than 3 guys being wrong because that means those 3 guys didn't have brothers to back them up.
Yeah, there was a leadership. There needs to be a leadership adjustment, right? Where like you need to train whoever's training them to fix that missing step, right?
Exactly. I mean, if there's 3 guys failing, that means none of the guys in their company came up and told them they were wrong. And that means a lot more to me, being uniform and being wrong at the same time. More on standards, I think I hit it pretty much nail on the head. I mean, there's a certain way you're supposed to have your room. Everybody knows what that's supposed to look like. It's outlined in various texts across the planner. I mean, even just like printed out sheets and my LOI that I sent out, or SOP for my inspection. Yeah, that's pretty much my inspection. Warl, you want to hit up on any other standards outside of like inspection?
I mean, standards on inspection, that's mainly all Cadet Phoenix Johnson, but I would say
Hey,
you know,
check the door while he's talking.
just having the right attitude while standing out on the line, getting prepared while he's and how you present yourself even when he first comes up to you. So a lot of things add up to the inspection.
Yeah. One thing I really want to hit up on, I've seen this my entire time being here, every 2 years. Every time before an inspection, it doesn't matter who's inspecting, everybody's helping each other out. Like, somebody has a jacked up uniform, you're going around fixing it. You don't even have to like the guy. You just fix it because you know it's right.
Yeah.
And everybody just gets in that mindset of mindless work, and it's kind of hard to explain. But it's this like burst of motivation that people get because they want to win. They want their room to be perfect. They want to tell the guy across the hall, my room was perfect and yours wasn't, as for bragging rights. But I think it's a little bit more than standards. It reaches beyond standards, and I think that's increases self-motivation, creates pride in their country or in their company, and other stuff like that. I think it's more about the mindset that we create off the inspection than the inspection itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Reed?
Yeah, I mean, he hit on the nail with the uniformity. It's also about like camaraderie between companies, developing that sense of, you know, we're all brothers here. We're all in this together, and it represents who you are as a company. It represents each individual cadet.
I had some guy call me from public school last week, and when I was talking to him, I just didn't feel that kind of connection and relationship. But I call Fisher. He was my roommate my first year. I call him up right where we left off. I'm like, hey, dude, did you ever, like, finally make your bed? he's like, no, dude, I don't want to make my bed. I don't even have sheets on my bed, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also, if I see somebody, like, doing something, and I know it's wrong, but it's not, like, terribly wrong, I'll be like, that's going to create memories. I'm just going to, like, turn a blind eye. because that kind of stuff creates memories. Because I remember my first year and creating those memories. Because I think the thrill of doing something wrong, but also being held accountable, can be pretty fun too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But if I can make little moments like that with some of you guys, man, it's just so much fun, man.
Yeah.
Not fun for the cadet at the time, but I think that over time they'll appreciate.
They'll look back at it and be like, "Oh wow, I kind of appreciate that." You know?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, love is spelled Time. If you are devoting your time to someone, that means you care about them, trying to create some sort of teachable moment from your mistakes, right? And I think that sometimes we take the mistakes people make personally. And that's a huge, like, you guys are leadership.
Yeah.
And I know cadets can be a pain in the tail, right? But I know it's a huge challenge for you guys not to take their flaws personally and let it get to you, right? Because the minute that it gets to you, the discipline's over.
Yeah.
Because any action you take after that is going to be selfish. It's going to be for you, not for them. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of goes through this experience in a different way, but the majority experience is where kids go through this. It's all about what other people think. Am I doing this the right way? And that's kind of a hard way to go through here, and people learn that through time, obviously. But it's just kind of hard seeing people go through it that way because they tend to gravitate towards the negative side of Hargrave, and once you get stuck on that side, it's very hard to get out. It's like getting stuck in the mud or like quicksand. It's hard. It's like impossible to get out of unless you find somebody that's gonna help you get out of it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with Hargrave, it just gravitates towards a negative mindset. But once you realize the positive mindset and the positive things it's actually doing for you and your future, you become a completely different person. Unfortunately, that happens more towards senior year when you have the end in mind. Like, I remember my sophomore and junior year, I did not want to be here. I was like, this really sucks. But now that I'm a senior and I've seen the things it's done for me and the friends I've created, it's an invaluable experience. And it's not just about the school, it's about the things it's done for me. So I really appreciate the things that it's done for me. Even though I hated doing it, it was.
Why don't you just move your mouth and let Warl say what you're going to say? Let's do that. Just pretend like you're talking.
Keep on keeping on.
Amen. So goal I want to hit this week, fail Echo Company. You're not going to win.
Whoa.
Amen.
Oh.
I'm not
No, I'm
going to
kidding.
win.
Reed, what's the goal you want to hit this week?
Win BC and final field meet.
I like that. No, I think a realistic goal this week is to pass my upcoming tests. I got like tests in all my classes now coming up.
Oh no.
Yeah, we got one in APES, AP Calculus, Spanish. We got a Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday quiz, Thursday test. It's a lot.
Fridays and
It's a lot coming up, but
Oh, yeah, we do.
I'm looking at the marking period on President's List.
Yeah. What about you? What you got to look forward to? What are you working on?
I would say probably my goal is passing my test that I have for this week. I have 2 tests, one for Gov and one for EAPS. So hopefully I'll pass them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm really looking forward to? I was just thinking about it because I've been here for 2 years and I've seen graduation. I've seen graduation 2 years now. And one of the crazy things that I see is like when these seniors leave, these little kids go up to the seniors and hug them and cry and all that other stuff. So I think that's a testament to how close people get here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really looking forward to see what kind of impact the senior classes made this year. Because that moment, more than any time at Hargrave, would mean the most to me.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I'm be hiding in the back in graduation. Some of y'all I've had like with me for years. and, like,
It's going to be so sad.
it's gonna be hard, man.
I think this graduation is probably going to be one of the hardest we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Or for faculty and staff at least, because this has been a tightly knit senior class. Like, we got a lot of good kids graduating, and it's kind of sad to say goodbye to them, to be honest.
Hey, but at least you guys can see each other electronically for a while, and then y'all can hook up on alumni events.
I thought you were gonna say like hook up on Tinder, and I was like,
Yeah, I should mess with y'all and like hack your devices before you leave and leave the blocks on for a
oh
while.
my gosh,
You
you
did tell me something about that.
Kind of crazy.
dude.
Yeah, I remember you telling me last year that when I leave this place, if I still have that computer, you could get onto it at any time you want if you wanted
Yeah.
to. That's crazy. Man.
Yeah.
Au revoir. Bye all.
Peace.
You guys stole the goodbyes.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen.